In addition to football, the fall also means there's several other sports going on for both boys and girls. And so we thought we'd chat a little bit about some accomplishments of the last week that were pretty noteworthy. Guys, Faulkner girls soccer team is off to another strong start. It's kind of their MO for years with a strong program there. And one young lady that has really got off to a flying start is Amber Mysick. She had 3 goals and 4 assists Tuesday in a win over Franklinville. And then in the semifinals of the Andrea Morton Memorial Tournament in Salamanca, she tied a school record with 5 goals and a 9-1 win for the Lady Golden Falcons. And then in the championship game against Silver Creek, she was one of 7 girls on the Faulkner team to score in a 7-1 victory. So they're off to a really strong start yet again. And there's been some other girls in some other sports who are also off to strong starts. Matt, you want to talk about one or two of them?
Yeah, much like Faulkner girls soccer team that usually goes deep into playoffs, Panama volleyball recently has been going deep into a lot of team sports, and this week they opened their volleyball season pretty impressively with a couple of wins, including a non-leaguer over Jamestown. They lost Taylor Bowen last year, a senior, but they have a lot of, it seems like programs in most of their sports, and girls are having a couple girls at each class level that are going to keep them going. They have Natalie Angeletti, who's a younger girl. Madeline Bowen's a sophomore this year, and they still have a couple more seniors coming up. So it seems like on the volleyball court, on the basketball court, and on the softball field, they have a good pipeline on the girls' side coming through, much like the boys did the last couple of years, including their basketball team that went to states last year.
Yeah, and then on the college side, both JCC men and women's soccer teams picked up their first region wins of the season last week against Niagara County. The men took down the Thunderwolves 1-0. A goal from Christian Fuentes early in the game was all the men needed to pick up their first win. And Taylor Morrison led the offensive explosion for the women in a 12-1 win. She scored 4 goals and collected 2 assists as well. So hopefully that can get things rolling for both soccer teams at JCC.
And a couple other honorees at the high school level. In girls swimming, Carrie Ann Yucknitz, another Panama athlete. She set a pair of school records in the 50 and 100 free on Thursday against Jamestown. And then Natalie Fosberg of Southwestern established a state qualifying time in the 50-yard split in the 200 freestyle relay in a win over Olean also on Thursday. So even though football's got a lot of headlines here in the first week of the fall season, there's a lot of other outstanding athletes doing good stuff at the high school and at the collegiate levels. In addition to those athletes we just mentioned, there's a bunch of players from the gridiron that also had fine weeks individually. We've mentioned Cole Snyder of Southwestern, Cameron Alexander of Gowanda, Billy Siders of Silver Creek Forestville. Cordell O'Brien of Frewsburg really had a outstanding week in several different areas. 11 carries, 113 yards, and he was 2 for 2 through the air, believe it or not, for another 64. So there's 4 or 5 kids right there that have really had good weeks to start their season. Matt, there's a few more here if you want to mention a couple of those guys too.
Yeah, that Maple Grove getting Coach Fisher's 199th win. Dalton DuBois had a couple touchdown passes, a punt return for a touchdown. Brad Benson, all-state returner, 2 more rushing touchdowns. And then up at Strider, as we said, it was a tough loss, but there was no doubt a standout on the offensive side for Jamestown there.
Devin Jackson, he carried the ball 28 times for 115 yards, and he took the opening kickoff back 80 yards to set up an early score. Devin's one of the holdovers from the 2014 state championship team, so he's expected to have another great season. Last year he went over 1,000 yards, and he's certainly on his way to do that again.
And I think as us in the sports department realize as the fall gets going, there's never a dull night. If you look at the players of the week, in the middle of the week coming up, there's, I think, 8 sports going on throughout the fall. It's probably one of our busiest seasons, and
Yes.
That's even without cross country and girls tennis kicking off just yet. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more individual performances that are going to catch a lot of people's eyes in the weeks and months to come.